All right, so I've heard several people say something about feeling secure when they park in a or stay overnight in a parking area. I used to kind of like, oh, come on. But you know, when I went to Florida, there was a couple of times where it felt like people are looking or checking on you or whatever. So went searching around, found this. Oh, it's just a black bag, right? All right. So I found some security screens. Let's go open up and see what we got. All right, so we get these 4 separate panels. Those 2 are for the rear door windows. These 2 are the front doors. Each of them have 2 anchor points with suction cups, so you just stick it on and it stays there. And then I get these 2 triangles back here. The last thing over here is a front windshield screen, which I think I'll leave in the bag for now because I already have a front screen. All right, let's get them hooked up and get them in. Okay, here's a picture showing all the various parts, including the suction cups. And here's the instructions of how to install them. I would say that you probably want the door closed to install them, but that's just a guess. All right, here we are looking at the driver's side window, front, the driver's side window back, and the triangle. I do have the Tesla roof shade, so it's not solid, but at least it'll cover up to some extent. Right? And the same thing for the rear hatch. I have the Tesla sunscreen shade. Over here we have the passenger side front window, the passenger side rear window, and the little rear triangle. So this kit was specifically for Model Y, right? So that's why it comes with little triangles. For the most part, I would say it's kind of closed up. Oh, so what you do is you hook in the hooks or the suction cups, if I can get focus on it. All right, this might be a little bit high actually. And then you push in the bottom so that goes all the way to the window, and then you push in the edges to kind of cover things up. All right, so is it perfectly sealed? No, but I don't think anybody will see anything. I mean, the only question I might have is the rear hatch. If the rear hatch is a problem, I'll come back to that later. But there you go. It's pretty easy to set up. I mean, I didn't even read the instructions. I just figured it out from what it had. But it does have some instructions. To be fair to you guys, it's kind of like they took the Chinese instructions, translated them in English. You can usually tell because the words are not exactly what you would expect. But it wasn't a hard thing to do. So there you go. There's that part. And of course, I already have, as I said, a sunshade for the front windshield. So that's not a problem. Onward upward. We'll see how this works out. And of course, since I have a power liftgate in my Model Y, you just use your app, open the back door, and get out. That's the easiest way. My feeling is I'd probably have to take this screen off one of the windows to open the door. Although that shouldn't be very hard to do. Whatever. The key point here is it didn't take, it was like $30 or something. And it's pretty covered up now. So I feel much better about parking like this. Oh, okay. Yeah, the light came on. So there's the front. Of course, what I was going to show you was how dark it is. So the screen is gray, and there's foot lights up in the front. There you go. And that's the inside light. Okay, so 9 hours of camp mode. Use 11% of battery. Okay, which actually is pretty good. Does it tell me the outside temperature is 84 degrees, which is actually the temperature in the garage, but anyway, that's the outside temperature. Hi guys, welcome to the Lago Vista Property Owner Association Activity Center. There are more lights over there to my right, but none of them are on. Only this one right by the road. I guess that's for the houses back behind here. Anyway, peace and harmony. So what I'm doing right now is doing a test, so to speak, to see how much light both comes out of the car and goes into the car. Okay, so you can't really see it from here, but the edges of my sunscreen are up, so in theory you could see in if there was more light in there. So I do have all 4 dome lights on inside the car. Okay, this screen, oh, there's a spot right here, but that's easy enough to just push in. There's a spot there, but still you're not really seeing a whole lot into the car. And of course, with combination with this tint and the screen in the back, you can't see in. There's a little triangle piece here. Okay, so I can just make out a pillow over there. And that's it. Oh, no, I can see something up in the front. So I guess I was watching something on the screen. You might be able to make out that I'm watching something on the screen. On the other hand, if I had no lights on, you wouldn't see anything, I don't think. And the same thing with this treatment of windows. And this is just the side of the column. So yeah. Yes, Natalie. I mean, if I was really like, oh, they can see me, this may need some treatment. But let's face it, it's I don't go to sleep with my lights on, so this is okay. At least I think it is. All right. Well, again, it takes away from the feeling of how dark it is in here. All right, so it is fairly dark. I mean, the screen has gone sleep mode. I mean, there's still light to it, but there's almost none. Through the Tesla screen, I can see that there's a light up there. Now that light's not very bright, but it's the street light here at the POA. I'll have to go to someplace else to get brighter lights, but there we go. For the most part, yes, there's no light really leaking in, I'm saying that wrong. I don't think anybody can really see anything. I don't know if you can see that well, but that's the passenger rear window covered up with one of the screens, which actually looks pretty nice. Yeah, so if you find a spot, you just shove it in and you're good. Now, the thing is, with this fabric, you can't really use the doors because it hangs over the edge. Okay? Now, if you do open the door, this will slide down into with the window, and so when you go to pull it off, you'll have to pull it out a little bit, which is not a big deal. The only thing that's striking me is you can actually see a fair amount of light coming in the back screen, which is a Tesla screen, right? So it's intended to let light in, so you can see out through the rear view mirror. I don't know how I feel about that one. There is a thing here for it to put in a particle shelf. So in the Model 3, what I would do is I would just shove a pillow up on there and that would cover it. But I don't know if that will work in this case. Something to experiment with. Yeah, so I carry extra, in this case that's a king size pillow, but I carry a couple extra pillows, yes. Just so I can shove it in spots where I want to block out some light. Okay. Other than that, yes, I would say this is pretty good for sleeping. And I don't sleep when the light's on, so that's not a problem. So the other thing was, with this light up here, I would also shove a pillow down here, which I guess wouldn't really help with that light, but it helped make it a little bit darker. Okay, whatever, peace and harmony. Oh, welcome to Lago Vista Library. There is more light down here, but not really all that much. And again, because the camera light came on, it's not doing it justice. But this is not a problem either. Some of the rest stops I've gone to before, they have bright lights. And that's what I was saying before, was I would use a pillow and push it up into that spot, and that would cover it up. And I also used a rack across the hooks in the back, and that I would hang t-shirts on it. So I've handled it before. I'm just trying this out. I've never gone quite this far where I put in really dark screens. So far, it's working really great. Okay, I guess this works better than I thought it did. So put in the particle shelf with a king-size pillow. If you position it correctly, pretty much blocks the back window. Of course, you can't drive like this. Well, actually you could, but it wouldn't be, I would not suggest you drive like this. But to keep the light out and the eyes out from the back window, this pretty much makes sure that's done. Okay, so for now, this concludes the testing. So to go back and recap, what I did was I went on Google and searched for Tesla Model Y window screens, right? I just picked the package. I mean, it was only $30, so just ordered it. It works pretty good, and it looks like it's pretty generic. So for the most part, blocked out most of the light, a few little adjustments, and I'm good. If you're looking to buy one and you see one that has a rear window screen, you might want to think about that. I think that would just add a little extra, but it's up to you, right? From the concept of going to a rest stop and staying overnight and sleeping overnight, yeah, I think it'll work. So there you go. Of course, I'm about to do a big experiment with it, so we'll see how it goes.